Howdy guys, it's the Dallerfin'd crustacean back at it with more Uncharted 3. And something funny, uh, really just like a funny coincidence. I finished my video, the video that, the first part for this Uncharted 3 series, and I get on TikTok and I see this interview with Nolan North and the guy who plays Sully and the girl who plays Elena, and Nolan North is talking about he's talking about how the Uncharted 3 was like filmed and captured, and they talk about how it was in fact motion captured. And if you didn't watch my previous video, I was talking about how I found out that the guy who plays young Nathan is the guy from Lab Rats, and I was like, I put that together, and like that's just like immensely cool because I don't think that they have face capture. Well, I was wrong. They did have face capture. It turns out, well, that Nolan North said they used the videos. I mean, the same camera equipment that they used for Polar Express, which was also face capture. So that's pretty cool. And so I was corrected. I mean, I said in my other video that I don't think there was, but if there was, it's still very impressive that they were able to get it to look so similar to the actor, despite, you know, even not having like the amazing equipment that we have today. So it was just a funny coincidence that I talk about not have. That's like a thing. Like everybody always says, your devices are always listening to you. That's so creepy. Do y'all believe in that stuff? I completely believe in that stuff. Like I'll be watching a show and I don't like, and then I like tell people about it, and then like all of a sudden my For You page is on like YouTube, TikTok, anything. It will be like all about whatever I'm watching, whatever show that I'm doing. I mean, like whatever I'm interested in that time. It's like my phone knows, even though I'm not like going out of my way to search things up. I'll just be talking about it with my friends, just watching it on whatever streaming service I want. I'm not searching anything up on Google. I'm not looking for edits on social media. It just comes to me as if some other source knows what I'm doing. Like it's just watching me. So I completely believe in the devices watching you thing. Let me put on my tinfoil hat real quick while I tell y'all my world theories. My what is it called? My conspiracy theories. Let me put on my tinfoil hat. Talk about aliens. Speaking of aliens, I completely believe in aliens, but I'll stop talking about that. This was the section that I was talking about with the trains in my last video about when it'll start getting more difficult. So honestly, I thought this section was gonna be more difficult, but it's not too bad. Not even on brutal difficulty. Like I said, I soared through this game. Uncharted 1, I had a little bit rough. Uncharted 2 wasn't too bad. But this game, I soared through it on brutal difficulty. Even though I think that this game objectively is harder than the Uncharted 1 and 2 on brutal difficulty. I don't know what it was. Maybe I got lucky. But it was like whenever I got stuck, I was stuck maybe like a max of like 30 minutes, which feels nothing when you have like there's a ladder. Come on, hurry up. Sorry guys, I got interrupted. Well, what was I saying? Oh, getting stuck for 30 minutes on brutal difficulty is nothing when you have memories of being stuck on certain places for hours. Because if y'all haven't watched my other videos, I talk about how I did brutal difficulty years ago when the remastered edition first came out and they first added brutal difficulty. I did it all the way back then, and I just redid 1, 2, and 3 on brutal difficulty for the trophies on my PS5, and I had such an easier time with 1 and 2, but the amount of ease that I had with 3 was immensely surprising. I literally sat down, turned on switched on brutal difficulty after finishing this crushing recording for the walkthrough, and I beat it within the day that I turned it on. I just sat down, played through the whole game on brutal difficulty in one session. I mean, obviously it wasn't like speed run timing, but I mean, it was in the amount of time that I was willing to just sit and play continuously. So like that is like immensely satisfying. That was that felt really good, just finishing being able to finish the game with basically zero issues. There was one specific part in well, I guess there's two specific parts that got me more than anything on brutal difficulty, and I'll talk about them. And I think it is the stupidest thing. Like, it shouldn't have been difficult, but it was, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, I felt really lucky and very satisfied for being able to finish it in just one sitting.
Back up, back up! Come on, come on!
Come on!
Get in! Go, go!
So then the guy says, well, you better tickle mine too, because now I gotta catch the goddamn thing.
Cheers.
To a job, well done.
Yeah.
Are you going to join us, darling?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the map proves it. Drake didn't screw around in the East Indies for 6 months. He sailed straight through and headed to Arabia.
Right?
But here's where it gets interesting. You see this mark? This is John Dee's signature.
Who the hell's John D?
John Dee, one of Queen Elizabeth's closest advisors. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he was a great mathematician and navigator. Okay, way ahead of his time. He's probably the one who invented that.
Seriously into the occult. I mean, like a really creepy dark
Yeah, see,
way.
he signed all his letters to the Queen with this symbol, meaning he was her eyes.
The original 007, you see, look, 007.
Not really that relevant.
So it was John Dee who sent Drake to Arabia.
Yeah, it looks that way. Dee and Elizabeth.
And Walsingham.
Great, but what for?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where T.E. Lawrence comes in. See, before Lawrence became Lawrence of Arabia,
Great film.
he was an archaeologist. And even when he was just a kid, he was obsessed with history, everything to do with knights and the Crusades. And he traveled all over, documenting every Crusader site he could find. It's all in here.
All right, you've lost me completely, kid. What the hell has this got to do with Drake?
I'm getting to that. See, after the war, Lawrence said that if he were ever to go back to Arabia, it would be to search for this place he called the Atlantis of the Sands. Now, the legend crops up over and over again under different names. Ubar, Aram of the Pillars, the City of Brass. But the story is always the same.
Oh, city of immeasurable wealth. Destroyed by God for its arrogance. Swallowed forever in the sands of the Rubel Khali Desert.
Right here.
Well, I like the immeasurable wealth part anyway.
And you think this is what Elizabeth and Dee sent Drake after?
Oh, yeah. And more importantly, it's what Marlowe is after.
So, wait, if Drake was on a mission from the Queen to find this place, why all the secrecy? I mean, it looks like he went to a lot of trouble to hide whatever he found, even from Her Majesty.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, hang on a second. Because if you recall, the last time we went halfway around the world searching for a lost city, things got more than a little dicey.
Yeah, but this time we have the upper hand. I mean, look, Drake only had half the clues. Lawrence only had half. We have both. And Marlowe has nothing.
Small problem. The Rubel Khali Desert, 600 miles across. The Bedouin go around the damn thing.
And even if we knew where it was, which we don't, we would die trying to find
Just
it.
hold on. You see these symbols here?
Yeah? Looks like Sabaean
It's Sabaean
script.
script. Right. Look, the Crusaders were searching for the same lost city 1,000 years ago. But out of all the sites Lawrence documented, only 2 are marked with these symbols. One in Syria, the other in France. No, you 2 are going to Syria. We're heading to France. Look, we track down these clues. We find Lawrence's lost city. I'm sure of it.
Well, and then what? How are we going to get across 600 miles of impassable wasteland?
It's in the middle of the desert. So technically, it'd be about 300 miles. Look, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We burn that bridge when we get to it, eh?
Exactly. What do you say?
What the hell?
Let's do it.
End of the line, I guess. Don't. Looks like we're going the rest of the way on foot. What?
Leave it to you to find a friggin' jungle in the middle of France.
Well, we're definitely headed in the right direction. Chateau should be this way. Not too far. Come on.
Not too far.
Video games and movies sure do make history sound way more interesting than it is, don't they?
Oh, you really want to bring up...
Hell, y'all might not agree with me on that, but I hate history. History is my least favorite subject. It was the one that I was always worst at, like, the worst at. It was so boring. It was so difficult for me to memorize. All the stupid times and all that crap. And I really don't understand obsessing over things that happened in the past. And pardon me, I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat back on, but they always say you have to know history so we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. But we are so stupid as a civilization, we do it anyway. You really think that we're actually stopping anything? I feel like the only things that we learn history-wise is like about not throwing. The stuff that we learn through history is stuff that has become common sense in today's world. Like hygiene, like not sharing a damn sponge as toilet paper like they did in the medieval times. Not sharing freaking like not pooping in the streets, not like everything that we learn from history, that we actually learn from history, is just common sense. Don't litter, don't shit in the streets, don't share a poop diaper like toilet paper sponge with somebody else. And but with stuff like wars, which is literally what everybody says, like It's a good thing that we document these wars and learn about all these revolutionaries, because if it wasn't for knowing about these revolutionaries and what caused them to have war, we we would keep having war. Like, no. Like, I honestly wish that you were correct, but that's not correct.
Be right back.
We as a society are so stupid. We will always fight each other. It doesn't matter if we have documented wars. So like, that's what always went through my head, and maybe that's why I was never able to learn. Like, sorry, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the difference between this white man and this other white man. Like, dang, they all look the same. Sorry, I don't know the difference between when this war happened and that war happened. Like, who the hell cares? I don't care. But at least the movies and games make it interesting. Like, really interesting. Because if history was like this in school, maybe I would have paid a little bit more attention. What was y'all's favorite subject in school? Mine's always been English, because I like to create my own things. And I know it doesn't sound like it by the way I talk and the way I stumble around my words, but I'm gonna
Up there. Whole damn thing's rotten.
Looks like those chandeliers are on some kind of pulley system.
like feed my own ego.
Down to clean 'em.
I feel like I'm a pretty decent writer when I actually am able to put the thoughts to my words instead of just spitting out what comes to my mind for these videos. I'm a pretty good writer, and I like making up stories. Even if the stories have to be about other articles like they did in English, I liked putting my own spin on articles. So summarizing an article for like my own research paper in English class was was the most fun I had in school, if I can even call it fun. It wasn't necessarily fun, but it was my favorite subject in school. Like, I guess I could cop out and say that my favorite subject was lunch, because I got to sit with my friends and stuff my face with
Find a way to that tower.
mashed potatoes and pizza school lunch. That but or I could say PE, because I loved exercising in high school. But no, I mean, if I had to pick a subject, it'd be English, not history, but definitely not history. Math, I could do or take. When I understood math,
Looks pretty old.
math was like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's like a great subject. I really like math. It was like solving puzzles. When you understand math, it's like solving puzzles. If you like puzzles. I mean, puzzles are fun when you understand it, and math is fun if you understand it. But you're gonna see a cut here because my dumbass got lost. I didn't forgot that you have to jump out the window. Um, but yeah, math's only fun when you understand it, and sometimes it can be really hard to understand. History was always boring. English was fun because I got to
Thanks.
use my brain to come up with my own stuff instead of follow what was given to me. Like math, you have to follow equations. You can't use your own brain, especially with the teachers who are like, show your work. You showed your work this way? No, you're supposed to use the technique that I used. Oh, and I'm gonna skip this puzzle completely because I was stuck here for like 3 minutes. I don't understand this puzzle. Like, I use the map. The only way I get to do this puzzle is by just memorizing what worked the last time. I might be a stupid idiot for that, but I've never understood how this puzzle works. So that's why I skipped it.
I'll push, you pull.
And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the reason I like English is cuz you can like use your own brain uh to like make up what you want to. With math, you have to follow certain equations. With science, you also have to follow certain equations, especially when you get into like chemistry and stuff, and physics. Oh god, I hate physics. I hated when science became the second math class. History was literally nothing to do with your brain unless you got a paper, but you know, any paper that's outside of English was always different. Like you always had to write a science paper. It always had to be different than what you got to do for English. It always had to be like straight fact. They'd always be like, "Give me straight facts." What is going on? Why am I just stopped here? I don't know what that was. Um they'd always be like, "Give me straight facts, but don't plagiarize." Like, what? And this is the same kind of thing for history. Those are like the base subjects that everybody has to take. I don't even know why I'm talking about school. I was just talking about how movies make history more interesting than it actually is and how much I hate it, and then I wanted to talk about all the other subjects. Y'all are like, this man is boring. Click. Gonna turn off my videos. Not that anybody's watching anyway. I don't. In case y'all haven't seen my other videos, I make these videos for me. I'm not looking for views. I'm not monetized. I'm not looking for money. I'm I'm actually in school right now, and I'm just trying to record all these videos because soon I'm gonna get really consumed by like a bunch of schoolwork, and I just want to get my favorite games out there because I am not gonna be able to play video games for a long time once I get into this thing that I'm trying to get into for school. So I'm just trying to have something that I can like have a recording of just to remember what it is I like. Oh, you know what? This section is really difficult on brutal difficulty. I completely forgot about this section. This was actually one of the sections I was stuck at the most, and that's funny because this is the very beginning of the game. And it's not every section in this chapter. Do you see that? He literally walked into like 5 of my bullets like it was nothing. And then I died there. But I don't know why, but I feel like this game has the worst gunplay out of every Uncharted title. And it's like I don't know why. I don't know what happened. You know, in Uncharted 2, you'll shoot somebody and they stagger. They don't do this in this game. They'll stagger, but it'll be their death. There's no staggering when you hit them. They literally run through your bullets like they're nothing until they die. But there's like moments like the one that he ran through like 5 of my bullets where I'll be like shooting and I feel like my bullets aren't doing anything and I'll waste like a whole clip. I had more instances of that when I was playing on Crushing than I had Brutal. So maybe my save file when playing Crushing was a little bit like buggy. I'm not sure. And if y'all don't know, I'm gonna rank the games, and I'm gonna use like my experiences, and like that was my experience. I didn't know that there was 2 guys hiding up there, so I died, and you have to start the whole part over. So there was no point in me showing you that. I just cut to where I was climbing back through the window. But what was I saying? Oh, I was saying when I rank these games, because I said I wanted to do that, and I want to rank them on their individual things. I'm gonna spoil y'all. I put this one at the worst in terms of like gunplay, because I had so many instances like that, and I didn't have that for any of the other titles. And this section's actually pretty easy if you I don't approach this section the same way as I did when I played on brutal difficulty. Maybe I should have showed my brutal playthrough. But after you kill a couple of guys, they'll start coming up the stairs. Then you can literally just see, this is where they start coming up the stairs. You can literally just like stay near the stairs and just wait for each one of them to come up, and then you'll have a bunch of ammo to swap between on brutal difficulty, and that's basically what I did. But yeah, spoiler, I'm gonna put this game at the bottom in terms of gunplay for its ranking when I rank these games. And by this point, I have played Uncharted 4. I haven't played Lost Legacy yet, but I'm not gonna include that in my rankings because it's not technically an Uncharted game when it doesn't include Nathan Drake. You see how they're hiding? I also noticed that they let the enemies really like to hide in this game instead of come out at you. And that's another thing that I'm not like a huge fan of. I don't like that they hide and make you run towards them. I still think this is an amazing game. I still think this is a very good game, a very fun game to play. But in terms of like the other games, I mean, I'll talk about it when I do my ranking after I finish my Uncharted 4 videos. But then I'll explain why I put one game in the bottom and why I put one at the top. But if you want spoilers for which game that I think did it the best, I think that Uncharted 2 did it the best, and I don't know if gunplay wise, just gunplay wise, and I'll explain why later. Maybe that's a bit of a hot take. But you see this right now? Like, I'm trying to go through the door. I'm like, I've killed everybody. But no, there's one guy hiding, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, he's not coming out. He's not running. He's not even running at Sully or nothing. He's not running up the stairs. He's just hiding and waiting for me to come to him. And when you're playing on crushing and brutal difficulty, that is terrifying, because they can kill you in like no time, and they take the same amount of bullets no matter what. But here we're gonna come up around him. He was just hiding right there, not doing anything. So yeah, when you have to deal with something like that, that's pretty terrifying when you're playing on brutal difficulty. But yeah, I think that Uncharted 2 had the best gunplay, even over Uncharted 4, and I'll explain all my thoughts on that when we get to doing. Gee, dang, Sully, taking forever. I'll explain all that when we get to where we were.
Well, which way now?
Well, when I get to actually making that video, I'm always getting ahead of myself, where I'm always talking about things before we get there. I'm always talking about the next game that I've already played. So this is me just getting a treasure. When you see like weird cuts like that, that's because I've like paused to open the menu to like watch to see where the next treasure is on like the guide that I'm watching, but I cut out the pause menu, so that's why there's like an abrupt like pop-up of the treasure to like not pop-up of the treasure.
It's one of Talbot's men.
Was. But that's impossible. They just got here.
Yeah, but what could have happened to him?
I have no idea, but I sure as hell don't like it.
Do they ever like tell us what happened to that guy? I feel like that guy's death is never explained.
Look at the tiles.
And
Be in script.
here comes a spoiler. This game has a lot of spiders, and
I'll stand
maybe
over here so I don't step
that's what it is. Maybe the spiders ate him. But why does it make him look like he's been decaying there for years? I mean, yeah, the spiders have like there's a lot of instances with like the spiders in the game, but they never specify, to my knowledge, that the spider's poison makes you shrivel up and look as if you've been decaying for years. I just think it's funny that it's just like set up as like a huge plot point, but it just ends up being like, I guess it just
Pitch
ends
dark
up
in here.
being that
Want to give us some light?
there's spiders later. So if y'all are scared of spiders, there's a trigger warning for y'all, because there is gonna be a lot of spiders. I've never been scared of spiders. I actually really like spiders. Spiders and snakes kind of fall in like the same category for me. It's like a lot of people are scared of snakes. A lot of people are scared of spiders. But for me, I've always liked both.
Does this place remind you of anything?
Actually, there was this one time where I've always wanted like a pet snake and
In France?
Well, he must have
and a
traced the clues
like a
back to the
pet
Crusades,
spider.
just like Lawrence did.
And one time I found this
This.
jumping spider, which are like the cutest spiders in my
It's being
opinion,
scripted again.
and it was just on
But
my
what are these
car.
symbols?
And
Looks like
I
he's trying
ended
to
up
work something out.
catching it,
There's some sort of
and
message
then
written here in a note
I
from
ended
script.
up buying a enclosure for it at like PetSmart,
Think you can
and
decipher it?
then I did research for like what food they like, and then I ended up going to like the section in PetSmart that sold like food that he would like, and I bought him like bugs and everything,
Well, the altar could be
and
hiding a secret
because I wanted a pet spider, and I made like his own little landscape, and I put like fresh like real leaves and grass in there, and he ended up making like a cocoon in a leaf, and I took care of his cage and like trying to refeed him and like
Sully, give me a light.
rehumidify the cage for
Much better.
One of
3
these days,
weeks,
you're really gonna have to start
and
carrying your own matches.
she never came. I mean, I named it as if it was a girl.
Looks like they really wanted to keep something.
How the hell am I supposed to know? But
Yeah, give me a hand with
so
this.
she I took care of her for 3 weeks, and she made a web in a leaf like day 2, and she never came out.
Looks like the
She
family
just,
crypt.
I don't know,
Pal Gunn
killed
took you down
herself.
here then, huh?
With any luck.
And I skipped that puzzle too because it's pretty long.
Got it.
Good job, kid.
But yeah, I was so sad.
That's inviting.
It's like, I don't know, maybe she got depressed because she was locked up. I feel bad, but I did all the research. I was ready to take care of her. I wanted her.
This is it. Here, hold this.
And then
Sure.
I had to clean that up, and it broke my heart. Never getting another spider ever again.
Some sort of amulet.
I still want a snake though, but I'm not gonna take one from the wild.
Gonna do this right on top of
I
this.
actually, speaking of like animals that I've had from the wild, I've also had a turtle from the wild,
Yeah.
but
Exactly where French
he didn't
Strait
want to
was
do
founded
anything
back in the
either. He
16th
didn't want to
century.
eat or anything. He did not
The
die.
name of a city?
I ended up releasing him back into the wild, but I had a tank and everything for him, and I kept him for about 2 months. But
Yeah, and the cutter and
whenever I tried to give him like fruit or something, I don't know if you've seen those cute videos of like turtles eating fruit, but he didn't want it, so I let him back into the wild, and he seemed happy when he swam away.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Shit.
Nice work, gentlemen. Harris, please relieve Mr. Drake of the artifact.
Yeah, Harris. Come get it.
Now, it's hardly worth dying over, is it? Your friend doesn't think so.
Come on, Nate.
What is that?
Oh my God. What the hell? Stay in the light. Get it.
Your torch seems to be dying out. Good luck with that.
God, what a dick.
Right?
We gotta find a way out of here fast. Stay close.
I love that the guy actually hands over the stone as he's getting eaten alive by spiders, because my petty ass would never have let go of that rock. Well, that's the end of that video. I'm sorry if I blabbed on and talked over some of the little sections there, but I just kept wanting to get my mind off of it. I'm trying to tell y'all about my lives as I do these videos, and I'm sorry this is going on after the video is done, but I really appreciate y'all listening to me rant about stupid topics, like topics that aren't even related to the game at all. So I really appreciate it. I love y'all guys so much. Thank you for watching.